So without wasting any more time, going on to the next session, we have with us Mr. Goutam Das. Uh, Dr. Goutam Das. Dr. Goutam Das is currently working as data scientist, advanced analytics at Cognitive and Analytics Group in IBM. He has an expertise in statistical analysis and econometrics modeling, big data analytics, and AI/ML. And he has previously served as the CEO and Chief Data Scientist of IIEST Analytics, as well as the Global Head of Solution Design and Delivery for the Data Analytics Consulting Wing of TCS. He has an experience of 30 years of IT and analytics, AI/ML-driven consulting experience in finance, telecom, manufacturing, and automobile, retail, healthcare industries in US, Canada, UK, Germany, Switzerland, Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, and India. He is a graduate of VNIT Nagpur in electronics engineering and has completed his MTech in computer science from IIT Kharagpur. He has conducted several national level competition on data analytics driven business consulting on behalf of IIT, IIFT, etc. and designed PG courses, taught AI/ML, Biz Analytics at IIT Kharagpur, PG SOM IIM, IIFT and XLRI and scientists of CSIR NERI. So we welcome you, sir, and we would like you to take up the session.
Yeah, thank you, Rishiraj. Thanks for inviting me. Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So thank you. Yeah, and now I think as I understood that probably you are going little. You have a crunch in time, so let me start my presentation. Let me start my presentation. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, are you able to see my PPT presentation?
So the screen is visible.
But is it a presentation?
No, sir.
Screen?
Presentation isn't this. No, sir. Presentation isn't this.
Did it come now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You find something nuances of contemporary data science?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's visible now.
Is it the one? Actually?
Yes, sir. It's visible now.
No. So it is. It is today's session. No. So actually, morning also I gave one at IIM Lucknow. So I think you are able to. Okay. So what we are going to talk about today is the nuances of contemporary data science. So that means industrial applications and its challenges. Now, data science, now it's a buzzword. And data science actually, but under the banner of data science, people talk about machine learning, artificial intelligence, big data analytics, image processing, Internet of Things. Even people, I mean, though RPA is not part of data science exactly, but when RPA along with or Internet of Things along with actually data analysis, statistical modeling used, so it's under the same ecosystem. Okay. So what we are going to talk about today actually, what are the different components? How does it go about? So let's not actually. Okay. Now, a couple of age-old applications of data science. So I believe now my slide and what I'm speaking and my slide, they are matching, no? The age-old applications of data science. That's the slide. That's the presentation you are finding now.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. Okay. Now, you know, from the age-old applications like insurance premium computation, that comes under actuarial science. So actuarial science, that insurance premium computation, so that is predicting the life expectancy of the different age group, different people having different kinds of demography, different kinds of lifestyle, and so, gender and whatever maybe. So in our country, if you go for LIC, it only goes by actually the age, but in different places, or suppose if I think of actually car insurance, automobile industries. If you go to the United States or any advanced countries, then actually the car insurance, they are actually the car insurance is when it is automobile industry where insurance we talk about, it is associated with the driver. Okay. Now, when it is associated with the driver and the car as well, suppose it's a driver, so driver's age, his qualification, his lifestyle, because all those things, factors actually comes into play what in computation of the probability of that person to hit another car or to meet an accident. Okay. Or to rash drive and leading to actually an accident. So this is the way actually in advanced world actually it works. Okay. Now, foreign exchange hedging. Now, if you have heard of hedging, so hedging is actually protecting your money. Suppose I am an exporter and I'm expected, I've started a project and I'm going to get some amount of, suppose $1 million after 6 months. So after 6 months, I'll get $1 million and I have done my costing, my cost of my product actually based on today's actually Indian rupee, US dollar actually exchange rate. Okay. Now what happens after 6 months? Suppose if the dollar value goes down, if dollar depreciates, then actually I'll be in trouble. Okay. So to do that, to ensure that, or rather I should say if dollar appreciates, okay, so I'll get less amount of Indian rupee in exchange of the same amount of dollar. So if dollar appreciates, that means if dollar becomes stronger, then actually I'll get less amount of Indian rupee. If I am a listed company in India, so my production is in India. Okay. So if in this context, what happens? An exporter goes to a hedging company and actually makes a deal that, okay, after 6 months, I will get so and so much of dollar and fix a, so today the dollar is suppose 70 rupees per dollar. So at what price you are going to give it to me? So if actually it is expected that the dollar is going to go up or down, whatever it may be, suppose dollar is expected to go down. Okay. So, so rupees actually suppose increasing, appreciating. Then what will happen? So suppose it becomes actually dollar is appreciating. So I will get, or sorry, rupees appreciating. So that means I'll get suppose 60 rupees per dollar. Now the thing is that whatever may be the case, so I'll fix it with him. So he will tell that I will buy the dollar from you at 58 rupees per, what is that called, US dollar. Now, keeping 60 rupees per dollar actually, or 58 rupees per dollar, I do my costing. Okay. After that, what happens? the same hedge fund company, what happens when another importer comes to him? So importer is going to buy dollar actually after 6 months. So suppose somebody would like to buy dollar. So then he will sell the dollar at 62 rupees to him. The expected dollar value is suppose 60 rupees per dollar. So he will sell it at 62 rupees per dollar. So he is keeping a margin of 4 rupees between the price at which he is going to buy dollar and the price at which he is going to sell. But having said so, so that 4 rupees per dollar is his profit and his cost of running the business, operational cost and plus profit. Now, having said so, first thing, the very critical thing is that he needs to know what will be the price of dollar after 6 months. So that is where actually time series forecasting or some prediction to be done. So that is what actually happens. Now another thing is that the weather forecasting. So for age-old Indian Meteorological Department, you all know for Calcutta it is there in Alipur, I believe. There is a department actually which actually forecasts the rainfall or temperature of our weather, and that's done through time series analysis. So this is also age-old data science practice. Then credit score. So if you go to a bank for home loan or credit card, issuance of credit card, so actually they try to understand what is the probability that you are going to be defaulter. Now, based on that, actually your probability of default, PD, so they will decide whether you will be issued with the loan or credit card or not. Okay. Then the same way, corporate rating company like S&P, Standard & Poor's, Moody, Fitch, actually they rate different organizations or even country. Few months back or year and a half back, I believe there's a rating actually got India as a country. It's actually country as an entity. Actually, it's actually a rate actually got uplifted. Okay. Then actually clinical research in drug. So before the drugs come into the market, actually people the pharmaceutical company actually collect the data to actually initially with animal, and after that actually patients, and it has got 3-4 layers, and then actually it finds that what is the impact, side effects of that, and the efficiency and efficacy of that drug, and then actually based on that actually it goes to the drug approval authority, and then actually they get it. And you are all aware of the way actually our COVID-19 that vaccine actually got approved. So even though actually in this case on emergency uses it did not undergo the whole process of clinical research, but anyway you have heard of it, you are aware of it. But what is the contemporary common applications of data science? Contemporary common application of data science are, airlines, hotel, car rental, dynamic pricing. So nowadays the airline prices are not fixed. Where 15 years back, actually it used to be fixed air ticket, but now it is dynamic pricing based on the demand. So based on the demand, they keep on changing the price. Even a flight actually, if you buy the ticket 3 months before you buy the ticket, later on the more and more demand actually increases, the price increases. If the demand goes down, actually the price lowers. And if you are standing in an airport and actually you just before the flight leaves, okay, 1 hour back, having that security time, if you like to buy the ticket and if there is a room, there is a seat vacant, then you will get at very cheap price, because the moment flight takes off, that seat will go vacant. So then you will go. So that because there's no demand. But if there are 10 people comes together and would like to buy the ticket, then the price will high. Price will be. So this is the dynamic pricing of the Ola, Uber business model. Then actually there's a product recommendation by Amazon, Flipkart, Google, LinkedIn, the text support, the natural language processing driven actually text analytics, algo trading. I just before this I heard about that Bitcoin part. That means the blockchain. So that is where actually data science is used. Automated mobile chat. Robotic process automation level 5. So actually RPA is not a AI or data analytics, but RPA along with actually some level 5 having built-in AI. Okay. Then industry 4, that is applicable to you all the mechanical people. There's a seamless auto production. So there are a lot of image processing, computer vision, and other data analysis in the and actually to make the seamless, human touchless actually production. Then smart cities, smart utilities, and most importantly, everybody is curious about the driverless car. So these are the various examples of today's day. So under data science, generally, what are the things actually required for you to know? The industry or domain experience. So you cannot have a data science application. I mean, you cannot implement data science unless you have got a domain expertise. Okay, unless you have got a domain expertise. Okay, and after that, actually, you need to have the skill in data science. That means you know artificial intelligence, machine learning, driven decision making. That is what actually you like to do. So you need to understand that. You need to understand that you have the skill and experience and the knowledge about that. And then you need to know the applications of state-of-the-art computing. That means IT ecosystem. That means IT part. That means you need to to apply your knowledge of statistical analysis, mathematical modeling, econometric modeling, or AI/ML driven algorithm, or in a business scenario. That means on the domain having where it is applicable, but on top of actually IT infrastructure. So the components actually are for data science. The components are data analytics, the stats, math, statistics, mathematics, AI/ML, the modeling, the information system, and the economics and the business domain. That is what actually I talked about. And under the ecosystem, your AI, ML, cloud technology, Internet of Things. Internet of Things actually generates the sensor-driven data that is passed on to data science, and we actually do the data science. I'll give an example. Very a couple of years back, actually, for a retail chain, retail shop, a national level. So there, actually, what we did in the store, actually, we actually installed different sensors like what should I say? Humidity, temperature, and luminosity. That means light, temperature, and humidity. So sensors are there. Then we collected that for 6 months, and after that, actually, we came up with an algorithm to find out what is the optimal range. What is the optimal range of humidity, temperature, and luminosity that influence the customer subconsciously to buy more. So we converted translated the temperature, humidity, and luminosity into the buying pattern of the customers, or how it is influencing the customers. Okay, so that is the way actually IoT data can be used for actually data science, data analysis. In the data science, actually, another thing is that at the top, actually, it is the artificial intelligence, everything under that banner. So what is artificial intelligence? It is the mimicking the human intelligence. So it can be rule-based. It can be actually dealing with uncertainty. There's a statistical modeling. What is the rule-based? Giving a crude example is the chess. So when you play chess with a computer, now chess actually, when you play with a human being, so you are uncertain about what move he is going to give, or you are playing with a computer. But what is fixed is the number of moves. In a certain time, the number of moves that are available to that computer or your opponent human being is fixed. Only thing is that which one he is going to give, that you do not know. But the moment he gives one of them, then actually, again, when you give a move out of many, then again, how many moves he is going to get based on the current context, the current status, the state, actually it is again fixed. Okay, so if you can think, suppose now up to 5 moves from both ends, and what are the different options, and which options actually to be optimal. So that kind of thing, if you actually make the computer learn about the rules, and based on that, so it is not completely uncertain. It is rule-based, but actually it's a very complex one. So this is also artificial intelligence, but it is less of statistical analysis, more of actually rule. But suppose you would like to predict tomorrow's temperature. So it is actually statistical, uncertain. You cannot say it will be exactly, suppose 25.25 degrees Celsius. It can be 24, it can be 26. But what you can do, what you can tell, probably with a confidence, or with a 95% probability or 95% confidence, you can say that it will be within 24 to 26 or so and so. So when it's a statistical one, then actually you can talk a range. That range comes based on the standard deviation of the distribution. Okay, I'm not getting into much into it. Then actually after that, actually deep learning, under deep learning, your speech recognition, natural language processing, computer vision, image processing, those are the things are there. Okay, now let me demystify that what are the different components of AI. Okay, that AI can be broadly, actually, to my opinion, can be broadly, actually, there are many segmentation can be done, but three kinds of artificial intelligence actually we can talk about. One, explainable AI, edge AI, AI at scale. Now, generally, most of the cases actually we go for AI at scale. So what is AI at scale? Now, AI at scale is that where large scale of automation in business function, large scale of business value and all. Suppose I'm in a manufacturing production setup, actually everything is made seamless automation. So basically you are actually a lot of actually accuracy brought into play, productivity actually has enhanced. Okay. And actually your manual intervention is less, so error is less, so rework actually wastage is less. So this is a various benefit. Suppose in case of actually where a lot of manual interventions are required in a service industry, there actually less number of manpower is required. So in most of the advanced countries, manpower is extremely expensive. So that is the AI at scale. Now, what is explainable AI? It is more importantly is the mission critical decision making. Suppose based on the MRI report and the biopsy report, cancer to be detected. Now, in this context, actually, the critical decision making is based on the AI. So now image processing will be done on the MRI reports and that biopsy, and based on that, actually, you will get that actually outcome. Actually, whether it's a cancerous or not, malignant or not. Now, this is kind of thing where the trustworthiness of the AI is very critical, as more than that of actually the value it is bringing in onto the table. So if we say that 60% cases actually they are correct, and because of that actually I'm making so much of money additional, but that will not serve the purpose. I have to have 99.99% actually accurate. Only thing is that even if it actually, even if the business value is very less. Now, explainable AI, the interpretation actually, rather actually interpretation, if there's a possibility of making a human error, that is more costlier. That's why I am bringing AI into play. But the statistician or the data scientist or computer scientist would be able to actually explain, clearly interpret and explain that actually this is why I'm confident that this particular decision by the AI system is correct. And the third one is very important, is the edge AI, that is actually today's. It is to be correct, but the quick response and the real time. Suppose Alexa, face-to-face recognition in mobile. Most important is driverless cars. So what do you mean? Edge means at the user end. Now, user end, but suppose in a driverless car, you cannot have a internet. Suppose you are on the cloud technology and the data is going to cloud and coming back and all. Because in the driverless cars, your decision has to be right at that point of time, at that juncture. So what is important is that accurate and at edge. So that's what actually edge AI. Okay, couple of quick actually examples actually. Suppose you like to compare actually 3 or more call centers or production setups, or actually sales teams of a market, or a sales team of a particular any kind of industry. So how do you actually compare them? So there's a called analysis of variance, ANOVA. So that is one, but there's a challenge here. The challenge is there that challenge is that all this, when you talk comparing 3 call centers, the equal standard deviation for all these 3 are important. So, or the sample that you are taking should represent the population. So apparently seem to be very easy solutions as per the theory, but in reality not so. So real challenges, the noise will be there, data insufficiency will be there, and more importantly, actually the data may not represent the actual population. Okay. Another thing, actually, I did it twice, once in a US-based automobile giants, another actually Indo-Japanese based actually Japanese based actually one venture where actually reliability analytics. So predicting the breakdown of a high value machineries or the vehicles beforehand and taking preventive maintenance or replacing the parts or subparts beforehand. So that's actually very important and critical in case of high value machineries. It is applicable for all mechanical plants and manufacturing setups where actually huge capital investment has been made for the plant. You cannot just change a machinery every time you want because it requires a lot of time for installation. And more importantly, if it fails, actually that failure time, it hampers the production. So that's why, so the solution is a Weevil distribution. It's a very complex theoretically, but problem that is not an issue. Issue is that failure data is very less. Now, challenge is that the more robust the system is, the more good the system is, or the machines are good, the less failure data will be available. If the less failure data is available, the failure, because of the less failure data, by prediction will be less accurate. So it's a challenge, it's a trade-off. Okay. Another thing is that as I talked about, that this is a cancer detection and interpreting MRI and biopsy. Now pattern recognition through explainable AI. What happens actually, many times we go for artificial neural network or deep learning today, actually multi-layer actually deep learning networks. The issue is that actually it's a black box. Now, as I told you, it's comes under explainable actually AI, or we should be able to interpret. So when it's a black box, to be honest, it is a through iterative process actually we reach to the global or local minima. Now, issue is that it's a black box. I do not have any mathematical algorithm derived out of it, which will tell that that's the reason actually I'm getting it. It is just through that artificial neural network or deep learning, I get a couple of weights for the different factors, but I do not know why the factors. It is just matched and we get the result. I can skip this one. It's a simple linear regression. The challenges are, suppose y is a function of m x1, x2, x3, m1, x1, m2, x2, and m3, x3. The challenge is that apparently actually when you studied in 10th standard, 12th standard, the linear equations and all that is different. Here actually this linear regression that x1, x2, x3, there could be intercorrelationship, and that intercorrelationship is called multicollinearity. Removing multicollinearity, identifying multicollinearity, removing multicollinearity. Then another thing is the heteroscedasticity. Heteroscedasticity means this x1, x2, x3, they actually the impact of them on actually on y actually it is expected actually the over the time that actually the y actually have this that heteroscedasticity is the standard deviation remains same. If the standard deviation actually varies actually, then actually you cannot apply that. So you have to apply some mathematical transformation to make that constant actually standard deviation. So what I'm trying to say, apparently it seemed to be very easy, but actually it is not. In the context of data time series analysis, the data can be three types: cross-sectional data. In the same time, you collect the data for various parameters. Okay. And second is that time series data, that over the time you take that data. Suppose with that temperature for 10 years. So 365 into 10 years, that means 3,650 actually data points you have got. So time series. Demand forecasting, suppose of suppose it could be rice, it could be any apparel, anything, demand forecasting. Now car, so demand forecasting, suppose month-wise demand forecasting for 10 months, 10 years. So you have got 120 data points. So over the time, but panel data is a combination of cross-sectional and the time series data. So you suppose you have got couple of, suppose temperature, humidity, and couple of more actually, what is it called, parameters, and over the time, and for different cities, for different parts of the earth. So then it becomes a, what is that called, time series. Or suppose performance of TCS, CTS, Infosys, Wipro, IBM over the time, that is over the years as per the annual. So what is there actually, revenue, what is that actually profit margin, what is the employee strength, what are the so and so, so and so, so and so. So every year it is changing. So over the time, because of the change in GDP, so there are some impact of those companies. Suppose take some just Indian companies, suppose Infosys, TCS, Wipro, and so and so. So over the time, actually, there are some the common actually factors which are impacting. So over the time, actually, it will have some impact. But within the company also, there are some cultural staffs actually which impacts. So that's called panel data. And I do not want to. So I like to straightway go to some of the case studies. Okay. Some of the case studies like nuances of, suppose I like to do borrower's credit worthiness scoring modeling. So what I talked about that, if I go to the bank, suppose I like to take the loan, so whether I'll be given or not. So through logistic regression, generally we do it. This is another case study I did it for one of the Asian, actually NBFI, okay, non-banking financial institute. So they have been given with suppose car loan, and we are trying to think of that before the car loan is finished. We like to actually offer the personal loan. So that means the objective is to actually segmentation of the existing customer loan portfolio to cross sell of the loan, some other loan. So we did clustering and we did exploratory analysis. This is the one actually I talked about, European giant automobile manufacturer, where actually we tried to predict the what is the very expensive car, actually that car manufacturer, and I'm talking about in Europe. So cars are actually the luxury cars are actually what Indian rupee 1 crore or more. Okay, so in that context, actually, so predicting that failure or of any parts or subparts, and then actually replacing them beforehand, it's a customer satisfaction. It's a less actually satisfaction, because actually less breakdown time. And another thing is that for me also, I know what are the parts and subparts are required if I predict, and then actually less inventory carrying cost for the manufacturer or the supplier. And another is, this is actually it's a United States based actually retailer. So and that is actually online e-commerce. So it has actually lakhs of SKUs, stock keeping unit. So different kinds of apparels, different kinds of food items. So you think of anything, something like Big Bazaar or larger than that in United States. I do not want to take the name. And you can, and SKU wise, means if you take Tata Salt 1 kg is one SKU, Tata Salt 2 kg is another SKU, Tata Salt half kg is another SKU, and ITC salt 1 kg, half kg or 2 kg are the three different. So this is the way actually each SKU taking the data for 5 years, weekly data, and predicting what will be the next week actually sell, and coming 4, 5, 6 weeks, and so that I can actually make my inventory level optimal. So these are all time series analysis we did it, EOQ model, economic order quantity. Then actually this is actually again India-based actually retail chain. For different city, what kind of stock keeping unit will give you more profit? So consumer price index, city type, literacy rate, populations. Apart from that, other stuffs actually where actually our input, even the gross state domestic product. I mean GDP stands for the India, but gross state domestic product, I mean state-wise gross GDP kind of thing, per capita income of the cities and the population density. So based on that, actually, we did it. Actually, this is more of a panel data. Then this is for this particular is the advertisement. This is actually a very interesting project. It's a globally top 1, 2, 3, 4 advertisement firm, where actually our job was to forecasting the media impact, and based on that reach calculation. That means when you are showing and suppose advertisement, how it is going to reach to the your potential customers or potential consumers. So give you an example. What I did, suppose Pepsi or Coke would like to do the advertisement in India, and based on the and actually they would like to say, next year I'm going to produce, my production is fixed, suppose 1 million bottle of soda. Now, what is the minimum advertisement and the channels, suppose whether it is a TV or FM or newspaper or hoarding. If it is a TV, whether it will be sports or family entertainment or the news or so and so. Even in sports, whether it should be cricket or football or so and so. So channel wise, sub channel wise, where all how much I should spend to get the optimal actually market reach, and so that I'll be able to sell my all 1 million bottles sold at the minimum advertisement cost. Or on the contrary, I have a budget of $1 million to spend. If I spend this much, maximum how much I can actually sell. So accordingly, I'll decide my production. So this is what this picture actually talks about. When you in a TV show, serial, when you see that advertisement, you are actually the what actually impact on your brain actually it increases. It goes to that. Then when you engage into the IPL match or in the serial, then gradually it goes down. At a certain time, again you have to give the. That's why there's a couple of breaks in a serial or serial, and then again it's a booster. Again it's a booster advertisement. Then again actually it goes up. So we need to calculate that and accordingly actually plan the whole and then actually the price of that. Okay. This is in one of the Asian country tea auction price we predicted, because many a time what happens, the people actually that manipulate the pricing. This actually I just wanted to talk about quantum computing, the new concept, a complete paradigm shift on the core computing technology and the process. Is extremely expensive hardware, huge potential market, shared economy, and it's into that, but it is going to change the whole perspective of actually AI machine learning. And I think I'm already 6:34. I like to end it over here. Rishiraj, actually, if anybody has any question, probably I'll pass on this particular research paper to you people, the Internet of Things, blockchains, and shared economy applications. So this is where how actually the example I have given here is not the one, it is something different. Have a look at it and how the blockchain, IoT, shared economy, data science all together actually comes into play for data science and data analytics in today's world. With this, I'd like to end it over here. I do not know whether actually I went too fast, but as I understood from Risiraj, I had a very limited time, so I thought I should do justice to complete as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Goutam, for this energetic and effective presentation. We will surely look into the materials that you'll be sharing with us. But due to the time crunch, we will not be taking any questions and answers right now. We will be adding it to the panel discussion.